Hey, everybody, welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. Today, we're going to get you guys caught up after the weekend of NBA action. We'll start the show and check in on Dr. A's My Guys, as well as my Bruski 150 players of the weekend. Then we'll hit the top 6 ads. We'll wrap the show with a visit to the drop zone. Doc, what's up, dude?
Brew.
Doc.
Hoosiers, baby. Football. College football.
Oh, did they not lose?
Did they what?
Did they not lose? Did they win?
Yeah, they won. They beat Ohio State. They're number one.
Oh, they're number one. Oh,
yeah.
All right. This is how much this is college football? Question mark.
It is college football. Yes.
So they're number one in the nation. Your Hoosiers.
Yep.
That's
First
why
time
you're wearing
ever.
the hat. Okay. I just thought you were a raging Hoosiers fan. And they're number one. Well, congratulations to your Indiana Hoosiers. Let's get to the news. I don't really care about your Hoosiers, Doc. Let's get to the news. We're going to go through some things here. We got the Warriors blowing out the Bulls in Chicago, but the big news is Stephen Curry's targeted return is Friday night at home against the Timberwolves. The Warriors have just 2 games in 10 days. That news coming by way of Anthony Slater. BJ Edgecombe says, Nick Nurse says his minutes limit might be going away. That's good because he's played 24 minutes in 3 straight. I believe we both have a hold recommendation there. Victor Wembanyama news is starting to trickle in. Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News, the great Jeff McDonald of the San Antonio Express News, not expected to play Monday, iffy for the NBA Cup game on Wednesday. I kind of don't think they'll force him into that. Moussa Diabate missed the last Hornets game with right knee soreness, and if he misses any time, I would think he is a drop candidate. What do you think, Doc?
Diabate?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I was reading.
I was just checking in to see if you were listening to me.
All kinds of crap. By the way, I think Stephon Castle's playing tonight. Is that right, Andre?
Yeah, I think so, actually. And then Luke Cornett, questionable for tonight. Also a good chance to play.
Yeah, as far as Diabate goes, you would have to repeat what you said to me because I was
You're just blatantly not listening to me.
I was just straight up doing.
Hey, did you fall asleep over there?
No, I was awake.
I can't see you right now.
No, you started disrespecting my football team, and I got all bent out of shape about it.
You get a little pissy over there. If Doc falls asleep or if I pass out, I've got vertigo right now, guys. This is amazing. I can hold onto the desk and maybe just stand up for 3 shows. Three shows today. It looks like some news trickling in here. Oh, so we got a lot of news. Let's get this like later breaking news. RJ Barrett, right knee sprain. He's been treated with a PRP injection for his right knee, and his condition will be updated in a week. So RJ Barrett,
ouch.
Yeah. And what are you thinking with the RJ Barrett news in Toronto, Doc?
First of all, if Diabate, to go back to that question, if he's going to miss time, I'm dropping him. As far as RJ Barrett goes, a week. I mean, you just put him on the IR and wait for him. I don't think you can just let an RJ Barrett go. So,
are there any speculative ads you like there in Toronto? I'll give you either or. Jamal Shed has been pretty good lately, but not good enough to get up and over the top 150. Do you think that he or the mysterious Jacoby Walter would be your pick?
I think it would be Shed. I'm always intrigued by Walter, and as much as I want him to become a thing, I just don't feel like that's going to happen. And I know the times I have leaned on Jamal Shed this year, it has not gone well for me, so I have some trust issues with him as well. But I think it's one of those two guys, and I think it's probably Shed.
He's been playing well. Sandro Mamu Kaleshvili. I got it. I think he might be good just because you take away all the gravity that RJ Barrett brings to the box score, and somebody who's producing has a chance to step up. He's been in a 175 level. AJ Green news, Doc Rivers on his MRI. He's out. We don't know for how long yet. Imaging came out good, but not great for AJ Green. And I'm not recalling the specific injury for AJ Green, but he was a guy that in Giannis's short-term, quote, absence might have stepped up and been a late-round guy, or actually probably guaranteed to be a late-round guy. But if he's going to be injured and out for a bit, folks can definitely wait on that. And if AJ Green is out, does that change any of the calculus for you in Milwaukee as far as who you like post Giannis?
I mean, I'm still very high on KPJ and Ryan Rollins both. I like both of them. You were all in on AJ Green. I feel like I think you were calling him like a must grab guy. Is that? Am I imagining that?
That was that other Aaron Bruski. That was not me. I'm a Bobby Portis man.
Well, I was kind of all in on Bobby Portis and Kyle Kuzma. I was kind of ignoring AJ Green. So the fact that Green's hurt is a buzzkill, because I think, like you said, he was doing some good things and on his way up. But yeah, I mean, that should make Kyle Kuzma more valuable, right? I mean, it almost has to.
I'm going to fade Kyle Kuzma. Left shoulder contusion for AJ Green. I'm going to fade Kyle Kuzma. I think he needs like 3 players to be injured to be good. And maybe I'm just not a Kyle Kuzma guy. That's probably the thing. Karl-Anthony Towns has missed the last game against Orlando, which was a hilarious matinee game. Did you get to see Desmond Bane chuck a basketball at OG Anunoby, Doc?
Nope.
Go to my Twitter feed. It's really funny. Karl-Anthony Towns, there was an update on him. I believe he's feeling better. He had a calf injury, the calf tightness. And anytime I see the word calf now, I'm programmed to think 2 to 3 weeks. Feels like he's going to be back sooner rather than later. And then the big injury was Franz Wagner, some sort of lower left leg injury. He kind of sort of walked out of the arena. He had a little crutch. I don't know, Doc, are there any like immediate run, don't walk kind of ads for the Franz Wagner situation? And then is Anthony Black a must hold guy?
Well, I think Black is a winner. I think Tristan da Silva has a good shot at doing some things here. I'm probably hanging on to Anthony Black until I see what happens in their next game. And then I think da Silva is a guy that if Wagner is going to miss time, da Silva might be fun.
Yeah, he might be. And Black has really got to get the foul shooting figured out. He is shooting, I want to say 70% on 6 attempts per game. And that's just kind of killing his value. If that doesn't matter to you, he's actually been really good, sort of hanging around late round value with the bad free throw shooting there. And then the Karl-Anthony Towns news, he went through practice today and then still questionable according to Mike Brown. The fact that he went through practice probably means they're not super concerned about the calf. So great stuff there. Tyler Hero has a toe contusion. MRI confirms it's just a contusion. Any other longer term concern for you there, Doc?
No, I just wish Miami would move someone and open up more minutes for my man Khalil Ware, because I just don't like the way he keeps getting messed around in Miami. But I don't have a lot of Tyler Hero. I'm not like totally dialed into this injury, but it doesn't sound like it's too concerning.
Yeah, that was the vibe I got. It looks like he kind of dodged a bullet, and a lot of the language surrounding the team and the way that they talked about it made it seem like just your garden variety toe contusion, a guy with a lot of injuries, Tyler Hero. So we're always keeping it up on whatever those injuries might be. Cam Thomas, MRI shows progress in hamstring. He's begun on-court work. Next update in 2 weeks. Are you adding Cam Thomas ahead of all of this return to action news that's going to hit in the next couple of weeks?
He's kind of dead to me now. I was as big of a supporter as Cam Thomas had last year, probably, and all the missed time and all the, it's just, there's just not much there besides points, and I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, there's a lot that could go wrong with a Cam Thomas ad. And at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back and say within 2 weeks of getting back on the court, he has a 45-point game with 0 points, or probably 0 rebounds, 0 assists, and a couple turnovers. Giannis expected to be sidelined closer to 4 weeks with his calf strain. Doc Rivers says, we want to learn with calves, make sure they're healthy. It may take longer than we want, but we have to get it right. That was from Jamal Collier. Do you think he plays again in Milwaukee?
No.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. That game that he came, I know we had the tinfoil hat on, or at least we pretended to for a little bit. And, if you bought a ticket to that game to see Giannis and you actually got to cheer, and yeah, it was only 3 minutes of action there, but man, that was a good move by you to get in there, maybe for the last time in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. Life hits you quick. That was a really fast pivot there for Giannis, and we've been talking about it since the beginning of the season. So hopefully you guys were able to get in on that. Welcome, new listeners. Welcome to the show. If you're new to Sports Ethos, head on over to sportsethos.com and check out our memberships. They have B150 projections that I've been using in high stakes leagues for over a decade. They power all the tools that you guys need, and then the articles themselves are above and beyond what you're going to find out there in the fantasy space. So go ahead and get to the website and check that out. Doc, who are your guys of the weekend?
Oh, let's see if I can read my own handwriting here. Kyle Filipowski had a huge game on Sunday. He had 21 points, 10 boards, 3 steals, hit 10 of 14 shots, made a 3-pointer. I had kind of given up on Filipowski short term. Like I was still thinking he was going to get it done in the silly season and be a silly season guy, but this was a big game, and the minutes were there, and he started, and maybe this is the start of something glorious with Kyle Filipowski.
I can't say enough about Kyle hanging on, really just for dear life, top 200 lines for the last couple of weeks until this week. He started to really put it together, and then a cherry on top. And you got Yusuf Nurkic missing games. He did play in yesterday's game, so he got his 19 minutes of not great ball. When Kevin Love and Yusuf Nurkic exit stage right, it's going to be Filipowski's season. And this is a reminder this last Sunday that the guy's got top 50 in him. So hopefully you were able to hold on, and hopefully you were able to add. Doc, who else you got for your My Guys of the weekend?
Shout out to Zach LaVine. We've been dogging him lately. I feel like he's been getting dogged in Sacramento in general. Hit 12 of 24 shots and 8 3-pointers for 42 points on Saturday. He also had 0 turnovers in that game. To score that many points with no turnovers is kind of remarkable. He did only have 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal, but it's a nice game for Zach LaVine. I think when Zach LaVine does stuff like that, it's your sign to sell high.
I don't know about that. I get that, and that's probably the right call. If it was if my life was on the line, I would probably do that. But there's a part of me that thinks that eventually Sacramento is going to throw like the same 7 or 8 guys out there every night. It'll be after a trade of DeMar DeRozan, and then I think they'll try to trade Domantas Sabonis, and that'll be tough for them to do. So I'm not sure that they will get that done. But that one player, you get DeMar DeRozan out of there, and you have one other injury, and Zach LaVine might just go top 50 the rest of the way. So that's tantalizing. But he also might be a guy that pouts and doesn't make it through the season himself. You got any other players you want to mention, Doc?
Just the fact that Khalil Ware played 30 minutes on Saturday. He only scored 5 points, but he had 6 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Ware is one of those guys that we always talk about, like Daniel Gafford. He just doesn't need a ton of minutes to put up big numbers because he's so active and does so many things on the court. I just wish, like all of you do, that this 18 minutes one game and 30 minutes the next would stop and then we just lock him in at 30 minutes. But it is what it is.
Yeah, you follow Ira Winderman, who's been covering the Heat for like 30 years, and he's just not sold on the two center pairing between Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo. And I think, sure, it might not be perfect and it might not work, but like eventually you got to try something. I don't think you could keep Ware on the bench at 18 minutes a game long term as a plan that makes sense. Where's creeping up on Adebayo, in multiple different ways. And even with all of that, I don't care. I'll hold Khalil Ware until the day I die. Let's get to my B150 players of the weekend. My first B150er is Jay Huff. He had 11 points, 2 steals, 5 blocks, and 28 and a half minutes. Jay Huff, man, if he adds like 1 minute per game, he goes up like 20 ranks. It's great. He's been a top 40 guy over the last like week or so. And when I look deeper, and I'll do this later in the 30 team show, if that's today or tomorrow, it just all depends on the what should we call it, the vertigo over here. But with Huff, Doc, how high can he go? Like, are we really looking at Jay Huff early round value possibly for this season? I mean, the Pacers are starting to play better basketball. They're doing it with him on the floor. Where are you at with Jay Huff?
Yeah, they're 3-2 with him as a starter now, and we've been through this a million times on the show. I feel like over the summertime, I was all about Jay Huff, and when Rick and I were doing those shows over Summer Brew, and you were out, I talked about Jay Huff a lot. Like I don't know if I was doing it because you weren't there to do it yourself, or because you totally sold me on Jay Huff last year, but I was all in. And then this season, he got off to such a slow, bad start.
Yeah, when I'm doing the Dennis Jenkins routines and name the player, it was Keon last year, and then eventually he went top 50 the rest of the way. There's a thought process there. Sometimes it takes a little bit. It's a slow cooker.
He got off to such a bad start in Indy, and I think me and you and a lot of other people are like, "Where is Jay Huff? Why are we not starting Jay Huff? We don't like Isaiah Jackson." And here we are, man. Huff is balling. It sounds silly to say it now, but I mean, he's a must-own player.
Yeah, must-own. I mean, legitimately, we could be looking at top 50 ball. Now, also concerns. His knee has never been able to handle big minutes. Other concerns. It's Indy. So if they lose a point guard due to injury, this is I'm curious if this is actually a legitimate angle here. If the point guards were the thing that brought this together, for Jay Huff, or is it just a little bit more random than that? Because I'll personally be keying in on how many healthy point guards are there in Indiana as I ask myself, is Jay Huff XYZ value going forward? Is he an early round guy? Well, tell me about the point guards. Is he a mid round guy? Well, tell me about the point guards. So I don't know. But it's good. It's great. There's no, if Jay Huff is sitting there on your waiver wire, stop the show right now. Go pick him up. My next B150 player is not somebody that's available on the waiver wire. His name is Jalen Johnson. His averages are ridiculous over the last 2 games, 25 and a half points, 15 boards, 14 assists, 2 steals, hitting half his shots. He hit all of his free throws, hitting the 3 ball, 38 minutes per game. Jalen Johnson, 74% foul shooter last season, hitting 80% this season. That's 6 attempts per game. I'll talk about him in the next couple shows as well. But what are you doing with Jalen Johnson? Are you gonna try to sell high, or are you gonna ride it out?
I'm probably riding it out, man. I mean, he has been phenomenal all year. I don't know what happens when Trae Young gets back. We don't know if Trae Young is coming back, because I saw a report the other day that the Hawks wanted to trade Trae Young and Reese Hushay for Giannis, which that would be very interesting. That would probably hurt Jalen Johnson. But, man, the Hawks with Giannis and Jalen Johnson in their front court and a Kongwu, like, that's terrifying. I mean, the only concern I have with Jalen Johnson at this point is the I word, injury, and we're not even to Christmas yet. We're barely past Thanksgiving, so this thing just got going. Like, a lot of people don't even believe the NBA season starts until Christmas Day. So get me through Christmas, and I think I'm good to go with Jalen Johnson. But I mean, this is just a reminder of how disappointing the last 2 seasons were, because we knew he had this in him. We knew how good he was gonna be, but we just never got to really see it develop. So it's been awesome, man. I'm in for the long haul with Jalen, I believe.
Yeah, and Jalen's near and dear in my heart because he wasn't getting drafted a couple seasons ago, the year after his rookie year, and I had him super high in the B150, and he blew up. And I just love to see, like, you see this little thing, and like it was the playoff film, and you're like, oh, that guy's going to be amazing, and it's like nobody's even talking about him, and then it hits. It's the best feeling in the entire world as an analyst. Okay, I will also mention LeBron James. Why finally off the schneid? This guy, his stats, 29, 4, and 7. I'm like, is it a typo? 6 steals, 1 block. He finally had the game to kind of put to bed. Like, do you, after this game this last weekend for LeBron James, Doc, are you concerned at all that he's not LeBron James anymore?
Not really. I mean, I feel like it's he's not going to be LeBron James every night anymore, but he's still got it in him. And I think LeBron.
This was a typo. I thought it was a typo. It's not 6 steals. This is a typo. It's a 1 steal. It's a 1. I was like, because there was I was turning the game off, and then there was a little bit of chatter as it was like, oh, LeBron gets a steal. It was the one in the very end of the game. I was like, did he rack up like 4 steals at the end of the game, and I didn't notice it? 29, 4, and 7 with 1 steal, 1 block. Sorry for misinforming the public. He's not Gary Payton reincarnate. What you got?
No, I think LeBron is going to have a good second half. I think we still, you said it the other day on the show, where this is his training camp. He's still working his way back from an injury. He's an old man at this point, so it's going to take him a little time to get going. But I think once he gets fully healthy and comfortable, LeBron may be treating Christmas Day as the start of his season as well. So I think he's going to be all right.
I think you made the comment to me, is like, we are actually asking the question if LeBron is still LeBron. And that was, if you drafted LeBron as he fell in drafts because of the late start to his season, you're getting him in the 6th round, I want to say, is when I got him. You're asking yourself, am I getting an early round LeBron James? And I've just got to deal with the absence for the first month or so. If it wasn't a yes, then that move was bad. If it is a yes, that move is good. So LeBron finally turning the corner. And as speaking of turning the corner, let's get to our top 6 ads from the weekend. And Doc, man, there was a lot to choose from. I just released a Waiver Wire article that had 45 pickups in it. What was your top pickup from the weekend?
Wow, that's a lot of guys, dude. 45.
Yeah,
did you dictate that, or did you type it?
I dictated it, and a word to the wise: don't do that when you have vertigo. It's not the best thing in the world. But I did it for the people, Doc.
Yeah. What am I doing? I'm doing buy low, sell high. If it has 45 guys in it, Brew, I want you to fire me. Okay. Pickups.
Do 45 players. Yeah, you gotta go.
Maxime Reynaud of the Sacramento Kings has gone from who he played for, who is this guy, to, man, this guy's kind of good. And he's getting run because Sabonis is not playing. And he had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks in 25 minutes, and a start on, was that Saturday. And yeah, I'm just kind of feeling Reynaud right now. And Brew, I heard a rumor that you might know somebody who spent all their fab money trying to get Rayno this
I didn't
weekend.
spend all my fab money. I spent a representative portion to make sure that I got the player that I wanted. I wrote about him in the waiver wire in the free portion. So anybody watching this show, aside from pausing the show to click on that article, which you can find at Ethos Fantasy NBA, and while you're doing it, hitting a thumbs up button on whatever you're listening this to, and subscribing to the show on whatever you're listening or watching this to, whichever platform that's occurring on. But check that article. I dove into the Rayno just production. Like, what does it look like at certain levels? And I guess what I landed on with him is Sacramento's really pushing Rayno. And I don't think they would do that to a rookie if they didn't want to just keep him out there. Drew Eubanks hasn't been good. And it's not, Eubanks' season was a couple seasons ago. So there's no real competition there, I don't think. I think Rayno right now is better than Eubanks. He might miss a call here or there, but he's a pretty heady player. That was the draw heading out of college, was that he was, could do a few different things on the floor. He could shoot, he could drive, a heady player. Questions were, at his size, would he be able to keep up laterally and not get played off of the floor? Well, if you're playing better than Drew Eubanks, why not throw the guy out there? The next question is when Domantas Sabonis returns. And I think, first of all, Rayno fits the bill of what you need next to Domantas Sabonis, is somebody who could shoot the ball and somebody who can at least get their hand up and try to block something every once in a while. Rayno's not going to be a blocks monster. At least it doesn't look like it right now. But I do think that he will at least have the ability to throw a hand up there and just be something of a blocker, when everybody's just dialing in Domantas Sabonis and taking him to the rack. So I think he's definitely a must-add player right now. I think that he might not be a run, don't walk, but Maxime Rayno is certainly worth picking up. And I'll talk about him in the next couple shows as well. My top ad from the weekend, and there were plenty, and I did have Rayno above this gentleman here, is Justin Champagnie. We got 16 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. In his last game, he played 32 minutes. I'm not even really as concerned with that as just like, is he going to be on the floor? Are they going to pull the plug on this when they bring some veterans back into the fold? Chris Middleton, et cetera. When other guys get healthy, will Justin Champagnie be on the floor? But if he's on the floor, he needs 20 minutes to have late round value. It's not always perfect at 20 minutes, but that is pretty much all he needs. And when he gets to 25 minutes, he starts getting in the top 75 territory. 28 minutes is what we're hoping for. And it's just a question of when with this guy. I had him ranked really high in the B150. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it was a double-digit number. And it's because he's so good in fantasy leagues. So, Doc, I don't know if you have any other comments on Mr. Champagnie, but if you want to move to your next ad from the weekend, we can do that.
I've always liked Champagnie. I hope this is real, and I hope he keeps it going. But I need to see it a couple more times before I'm fully going to take the bait there. Next on my list, staying in Washington, is Bub Carrington. He had 14 points and 9 dimes with a steal and 3 threes on Saturday. He played 37 minutes in that game, which is crazy, a very high number. And then I looked at his last 4 games. He's gone 22, 25, 28, and 37 minutes. That's good. Those are all worthy minutes. And if he's going to keep playing 25 minutes a game, I think it's time to move on Bub Carrington, especially since point guards and assists aren't always the easiest things to find on the waiver wire.
I'm so curious about the trade deadline. December 15th is right around the corner. It loosens up the trade market just a little bit. It's always a little overstated, but I think this year might be the year that we actually see some December 15th an extended trade action in the NBA with so many big names that are either disgruntled or gruntled or whatever, trying to get out of town. It could be a pretty exciting trade deadline in general, I hope. It's always fun for us when we see a lot of player movement. I'll stay in Washington, and this is the thing. And speaking about your Bub Carrington play as well, the minute they hit that pivot, if they trade CJ McCollum, if they stop playing Chris Middleton and really truly just go all the way for the kids, Tristan Vukcevic is also on that list. He had 18 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, no defensive stats, and he had a game earlier in the week where the defensive stats were there. And I'm a little less bullish with Vukcevic because Alexander Sarr might come back and just kind of keep him at 18 minutes a game or something like that. And his production at that point is probably outside of where you want, even in a 200 player league where, you're like in a 14 team format or something like that. But eventually, a la Champagny, if he's in there and he's playing even 24 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game, he's good enough to have the late round value. And like Champagny, he can actually climb fairly fast. If he gets up to 28, 29 minutes per game, I don't know if that'll happen with Sarr around because I don't know if they're shifty enough to be able to handle things on the interior together as a duo, but he will be a mid-round guy in that case. And the question with Alexander Sarr will be, can he actually play through the entire season on this bad Washington team that wants to tank? And Tristan Vukcevic might be there to just mop up whatever that part of the mess is. And I'm all about it there. So, Doc, I don't know how you feel about old Tristan, but if not, Tristan, who else you got?
I'll tell you how I feel about Alex Sarr. He was in my lineup in 30 deep for the whole week, and I got smoked both games. I just got destroyed. And, De'Aaron Fox not playing, or not De'Aaron Fox. Sorry, I just totally offended De'Aaron Fox. Dennis Schroeder not playing, along with the fall of Dennis Jenkins and the disappearance of Alex Sarr. Man, we're just struggling over there in 30 land. So next guy on my list, Brandon.
You don't want to offend the De'Aaron Fox camp.
No,
I'll just throw that one out there for you.
Brandon Williams of Dallas, the point guard that has been, I'm sure he's been dropped and added and dropped and dropped and added over and over again in leagues because we can't figure out what to do with him. It looked like Ryan Nembhard was taking over the point guard life in Dallas, but they split minutes in the last one. Williams and Nembhard both played 23 minutes. Williams had 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting. He hit a 3. He had 5 assists and 2 steals. It was a good game for him. Nembhard had 11.7 assists. So they're still splitting those minutes there. And I think I like and trust Nembhard a little more, but I don't think they're fully just going away from Brandon Williams just yet.
I kind of see that the other way, but as far as the point guard battle there, I'm not convinced that Ryan Nembhard's going to just run away with it, but he fits that team in terms of needing somebody who moves the ball, connector. That you got these big playmaking bigs, PJ Washington, Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis. They're just big, right? Like having a little shifty, zigzaggy point guard out there that likes to pass the ball, I think is a good fit for those guys. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on it. But Brandon Williams, if he can get going, and it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't have a shot. I could probably rephrase that. He has a shot because he is also pretty shifty on his own, and this team might not be playing for much as the year goes on. So keep an eye on him for sure. I'll add Jordan Walsh to this list. The numbers don't jump off the page, right? Like he had 13 points, 2 steals, and a block in the last game. But what this guy is doing is he's pretty much earned the starting job in Boston. The commentators around the team, so media and play-by-play are just openly talking about his defense and that he is a starter. And then as far as his cash counting stats goes, he's over 3 for kind of any representative sample that we want to look at. And he had been having a good week and having a bad week and having a good week and having a bad week. And I don't think he really jumped onto the radar as much as he should have, but he's been inside the top 100 for a little bit here. And his shooting numbers are they look unsustainable, but he's not taking that many shots a game, but he's getting you great efficiency. He's getting you those cash counters that you need, getting you a little bit of scoring, a little bit of rebounding. And he's just going to be tucked inside of the top 100, I think, for the entire season. So it might not play in head-to-head leagues as well as it plays in roto leagues, but we keep seeing some really interesting stats. I always thought Jordan Walsh was somebody that couldn't move at the NBA level. He's like a little too slow, a little too big. didn't have the lateral movement. And now this year, it looks like he's got the better end of that equation. He's able to move. He uses size to his advantage. And if you look at some of Noah Dalzell, I think she put out a list of retweeted somebody else's stuff of like players that have played against Jordan Walsh in their shooting lines. And it's pretty impressive. So Jordan Walsh getting some early pub. Doc, do you have any other honorable mentions before we move to the drop zone?
Just Jaime Jaquez had 27 points, hit 9 and 15 shots, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a 3 on Saturday. Don't forget about Jaime. He's probably rostered. He should be rostered in most leagues, but just make sure he's not sitting out there on your waiver wire.
Yeah, he made it into my waiver column. It's looking like things are a little bit on the uptick for him. I'll quickly shout out the Spencer brothers and the Jazz cousins. The Spencers are taking the league by storm. And the funny thing is, like, as we learn more about these Spencers, I guess Pat didn't really play ball that much in college. He was like a lacrosse guy, which actually makes sense. But he's just learning the game. And he had 15.5 points, 4.5 boards, 6.5 assists, a steal, and a block as an average over the last 2 games. Brother Cam is getting it done for Memphis. And both these guys are probably not going to be good in fantasy leagues because, Steph's going to come back in Golden State. Ja Morant theoretically wants to play basketball in Memphis. You got issues there. But if these guys were surprisingly good, when they're not supposed to be throughout this season, that wouldn't be surprising as well. And then had a little bit of a Taylor Hendricks, Walter Clayton sighting in the blowout game against the Thunder yesterday. And folks are kind of asking just like, hey, should I add these guys? And I think the answer here is that they're people to watch in fantasy leagues, especially after the pivot in Utah. Really like Walter Clayton. Taylor Hendricks has had good moments. He's profiled in the past as a late round guy. I don't think it's going to happen right now, but just file this away as good news for these guys. And if they do it again, we'll talk about that. Quick pause in the action. If you guys are checking for players on the waiver wire in your league, when you're done with that, if you're liking the episode, hit us up in the comments on our socials or on the video and let us know who your favorite ad in fantasy basketball is right now. Doc, let's get to the drop zone. Who's your first drop zone guy?
I've got Ayo Dosunmu written down here. He had, what did he have? He had 4 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, no steals, no blocks in his last game. And I feel like when Kobe White and Josh Giddey are both healthy, it's going to be hard for Dosunmu to really make his mark, have a big fantasy impact. So if Chicago's healthy, I think Dosunmu is a guy you can probably drop to pick up a hot free agent.
Yeah, the lower upside there really hurts when somebody like Ayo goes and does something like this. It's bad. I like the player, don't like the situation, and we'll see if he bounces back in the next one. He's been doing a pretty good job this season, late round value. Malik Monk had a terrible line, and this is how it's been with Malik all season long. Is sometimes he looks like the only Sacramento King player that fans and analysts, watch, and you're like, that's the only dude worth playing right now. He's the only one who's bringing his game. He's out there, he's fighting and all the things. Well, you had Zach LaVine go off. That's probably one clue as to what happened with Malik Monk. But here's the big news with Malik Monk. Whenever this Sacramento pivot hits, and it could take as long as the trade deadline, that could be a thing. And Sacramento always can go off script and just do whatever. That's crazy. But when that happens, Malik Monk has top 50 to 100 potential. You're going to have to subtract a guard and maybe get one more piece of injury relief. He plays well with Domantas Sabonis, so that's not a problem. Whenever Sabonis returns, that might actually help him out. This is the kind of line that gets you dropped. And if Malik Monk was dropped in your league, would highly recommend, unless you're just completely stacked with top 100 or better players, go ahead and go pick up Malik Monk. Doc, if you got anything to say there, feel free. Otherwise, let's hear your next drop.
Sticking with my guy that I talk about every week, AJ Mitchell, the super deep Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder are too deep is the problem. And they've placed so many guys, and I think the return of Jalen Williams has really slowed down Mitchell. And Mitchell, Jalen was really awesome over the weekend. He played great. And I just feel like it's going to be harder and harder as time goes by for AJ Mitchell to sustain the pretty cool numbers that he's put up this far. In 2 games over the weekend, he averaged 8 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist, a half steal. He only hit 2 of 6 shots. Like, it's kind of rough. Brew, I know you don't want to hear this, but
no, I got news for you.
What you got?
I dropped him.
What?
I dropped him, but there's a couple kickers. I have 6 all-star guards in one of these lineups. So I was like, I don't need to hold here, and I need it, at another position. But prior to that, it hadn't really crossed my mind. I think this week softened me, and it's fine. AJ Mitchell, you did a great job. It wouldn't be surprising if you had late round value going forward, but the dips being in the 175 range, that's not gonna fly. I think for a lot of folks out there, I think a lot of folks in 150 player leagues need 125 as their floor. They need sometimes 100 as their floor. In game cap leagues, that's not going to be good for AJ Mitchell. So I am out on AJ Mitchell. I am now not out on Noah Clowney. And I have a theory here. I don't know what Noah Clowney's doing with his weekends, but he's had 2 straight duds on the weekend, surrounded by massive production everywhere else. And so I'm just going to take that trend for what it's worth and say I'm just kicking out this last game. 10 points, 6 boards, 1 block, 2 of 11 shooting. Like, do I fully believe in Noah Clowney? No. But I believe in him enough to call him a must-roster player. And so there, I've done it. I've got a third.
He's been hanging out with me at Johnny B's watching football and not caring at all about basketball on Saturdays.
Any player that's hanging out with you at Johnny B's is an insta-fade. I don't know, unless there's that one player who gets their magical powers.
You're damn right they are.
From such activities. Well, you got any honorable mentions in the drop zone, Doc? Speaking of Johnny B's and places adjacent to Johnny B's that may or may not sell burritos.
The Burrito Brothers over there in San Antonio, oh shoot! Now I'm not gonna.
The Dylan Harpers, the Harrison Barnes, the Keldon Johnsons, the
Keldon
Julian Champagnes.
Keldon Johnson, Champagne.
Is Luke Cornett a burrito brother? I don't know.
No, he doesn't qualify because he has yet to have a big game this year. The rest of those guys all pop. Cornett has been nothing but a disaster for everybody who touched him. Therefore, I'm not messing with that dude again. But Harry B, in his one game, had 7 points, 4 boards, and assists, a steal. Nothing really. So he's due to blow up in his next game. But you will not see any of the Burrito Brothers having a good game at the same time as other ones do. It's one or nothing. And with Stephon Castle coming back tonight, and with Wemby hopefully coming back on Wednesday, we will not be talking as much about the Burrito Brothers as we have been so far.
Yeah, I don't even think Dylan Harper's a burrito brother. I think he's a late round guy going for it. I know it was rough. He had 1 of 11 shooting on Friday, 6 assists, no defensive stats. I think it's just going to be rough for the guy. I mean, like, he's had so much missed time, preseason and now this last injury. Like, he's a great basketball player. The fact that the Spurs have that guy in addition to all these others, I'm enamored with the Spurs, and to be a Spurs fan, oh my God. I will honorable mention Royce O'Neal, also just a terrible stat line over the weekend, and he has not played that much basketball. The Phoenix Suns, I think, had 2 games last week, so 2 games in 7 days, and a lot of Royce O'Neal. Pitter patter. If you've been holding on to Royce O'Neal, you're like, what the hell am I doing with this guy? Well, he's a top 90 to 100 value on the season. You got players that are banged up, and they played him at point guard essentially the other night. I don't think you want to drop Royce O'Neal because the next big game is right around the corner, and he's due. And we're due as well. That's going to do it for this show. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to keep this content coming is super simple. If you're listening on the pod feed, take 60 seconds and drop us a 5-star review, which helps us a ton. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you never miss a new episode. Doc, if you got anything to say, you got to wedge it in now because I'm getting us out of here.
No, I'm out.
All right, sweet. Thank you, Andre.
I'm going to pick Clowney up. We're going to play Golden Tee at Johnny B's.
Oh, no. Everybody drop Noah Clowney everywhere you have him. Doc, our content team, Mike Passador, Keston Paul, Mark Camaro, Tim Woodson, William Harris, Yoel Abuloff, John Mosales, Paul Williamson, and Anthony Cates. Thank you for bringing them into the fold, Andre, and our tech team as well. For Steve and Andre and all of us here at Sports Ethos, we'll be right back with a preview of tonight's slate. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.